Today, we're going to learn how to play like the Doors. We're going to analyze the keyboard parts of legendary Ray Manzarek, as well as tailor the necessary bass parts. So by the end of this video, you will be able to wow your friends with performances from 3 classic Doors songs. We'll be talking about the sounds, the rhythms, the nuances. What makes the Doors sound like the Doors? By the way, if you stick till the end, I'm gonna show you how I composed Doors-based music, so you can do that too. Without further ado, let's go to the music! Firstly, I would like to thank Giovanni Mugnaini, who joined the piano crew on Patreon. Let's start with Soul Kitchen. I have my keyboard split up here into 2 parts. I have an organ sound on the right hand, that's a Vox Continental transistor organ sound, as well as a Rhodes on the bass left hand, which Ray Manzarek famously used. So let's start with the bass. You just repeat this loop, and a good way to exercise the rhythm is to play a metronome with the right hand, like so. Now the intro features this organ part. After a few bars, the organ part consolidates into a simpler pattern, like so. Part of what makes the Doors sound, or the Ray Manzarek sound, is the inconsistency of his playing. I challenge you to look at the original recording and search for the slightest variations. For example, even in a repeating pattern like this one, there is one note that changes, and in the grand scheme of things, that's a big deal. So take a look at this. Right? So I inserted that ghost note. Ray Manzarek loves ghost notes, and he also loves grace notes, because if you notice, I also added this note, the E flat, before playing. So we have So if we implement the ghost notes, the grace notes, and the variations all in total, let's take a look again at the intro pattern now. For our next song, Light My Fire, I'm going to be using the exact same sound setup, but you can use a piano as well, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that the bass pattern is different, so listen to this rhythm. Let's practice with a metronome right hand playing the chords. And now let's isolate the right hand lead part. And together, let's do it slowly. Aside of the typical rhythms, what makes the doors sound here is the sheer amount of modulation. That is, we don't have a clear sense of what key we are in. For example, we start with the G major chord, but by the end of this chord progression of the intro, we arrived at an A major key. So, have we established harmony yet? Are we in the A major key? What's the next chord of the verse? Well, it's A minor. So, let's take a look at the verse for one moment. Essentially, we're alternating between AM and F sharp minor. So are we in the A minor key? Well, no, because A minor doesn't have any black keys. So that feeling of what is going on is very common and characteristic of Doors music. We'll talk more about modal harmony in our next song. For Riders on the Storm, I'll be using a Rhodes electric piano sound. Let's start with the bass. We basically just repeat this pattern. Now let's exercise this slowly with the right hand which plays the intro. I would suggest to exercise this part separately before moving on to the next one. Here is the second part of the intro, the rain. Now, if this feels a little bit too hard still, there's a little hack that without compromising on the quality of the sound or play, you can make yourself a much easier life. So what we do is we change the bass a little bit. Instead of what has been shown before, play like that. So by playing the bass in the same direction, it is much easier to play the rain part faster, like this. Another characteristic of the Ray Manzarek sound is the use of sequences. Ray himself testified that he has been largely influenced by classical composers. So a sequence is basically a repetition of transposed musical melodic lines, sometimes rhythmic as well. So if we take an example out of Bach's book, another example, all right, so we can find sequences pretty frequently in Ray Manzarek's playing and especially soloing. We've established that the Doors do not like to stay confined within a simple major or minor key. In fact, you can find a lot of extended harmony in Doors songs. What they really like to do is to use a scale called the Dorian mode. So a Dorian mode is a minor key with a sharp 6th degree. For example, Riders of the Storm in E minor, a sharp 6. So that allows us to play EM with a major 4th degree, which is A in this case. Now, do you remember Soul Kitchen? What did we have there? Exactly the same. We were in A minor key, right? And we had the first degree being minor, right? AM. And then the fourth degree was suddenly major because we have that F sharp, that sharp 6th degree. And suddenly you get that 60s sound, that Doors sound. And with everything now that we've learned, I can show you how I composed a Doors-inspired track. Let's go to it. Alright you guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget that there's a PDF with the chord charts and tips available exclusively for my Patreon supporters. So if you'd like to make the best out of these videos, go and become a member or donate externally, and you're free to request any PDF or any auxiliary material from any lesson, any tutorial on this channel. So I'll see you guys in the next video.